All right, the red live is on, and I am on with our friend Laz and Sean. Hopefully, will join us soon. If not, we're gonna miss him, but the show must go on. Laz, what's going on?
Hey, Marco, invitation. Been started Sunday, extended my stay. I have learned a lot and have been very appreciative of being back uh, out of isolation and being very careful and thoughtful as we, are trying to live through this pandemic. It's good to see everybody. It's good to be back in person and uh, started real. People are here, and if there are text messages,
You
our
know,
meetings
Laz,
went.
I'm going to
Yep,
ask you maybe to kill the video because it's
yep.
getting really breaked up. So we're gonna go with the audio with you to see if that helps. So
How's that? Is that better?
sounds a lot better. Yes, yes. And
All
Sean
right,
just
there we
joined
go.
us too. So
Look at
he's
that.
late. I
I'm
tried to
late.
lock the door, but he's in. Damn
Yeah,
it.
Hey,
you couldn't. I knew
let
the
me
code.
switch networks, you guys, and maybe get a better video. Let me just
All
try
right.
Yeah,
something.
the audio is good. So of course we wanted to see you, but it's all right.
I
So
caught a
Hey,
Sean, this
glimpse.
Sean.
was one of those last minutes, and
I love it.
I'm
I
excited.
I
That's
hadn't
what it is
seen
about.
I hadn't seen the booking come across. I'm like, this has to happen. This has to happen.
Six.
Make it happen. Make it happen.
The,
There it
sh-
is.
the, the show must go on.
No,
That's what I
I
said
was
too.
out getting a bagel and cream cheese.
Oh, sounds
So
very, very, how very New York of you.
it was very New York and very healthy of me. Yes.
Yeah. So, Laz, give it a try. You were already telling how great it was to be back. Go for it. Laz, you
It's
there?
so good. He's speechless.
Yeah. I think it was trying to change the network to see if it was getting a better connect.
Yeah, I
There
was
it
going to
is.
try it. Yeah, all right, trying a different network. It's
All
good to see
right.
you, Sean.
Yes.
And I was just telling Marco, it's great to be back in person. We started the week off Sunday, uh, put a an image up on LinkedIn, and all of a sudden the phones just started firing off. Hey, are you here in town? Can we meet? Can we meet? And it's been nonstop, But I'm not complaining about that. I feel fortunate that we have the opportunity to be here and working all week to reconnect with people, meet new people, and talk about what's happening in the industry.
And what is
And that's
happening?
exactly why we're here. Tell us.
I know.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think there's a couple themes from the week that I'd like to talk about. The first one being diversity. There's a lot of discussion about women in tech, women in cyber. That coupled with how do I get a start if I am a woman who just wants to investigate and look at things out there for cyber. So we had a couple impromptu meetings with some up and coming security engineers to give them some guidance, right? So Nick Burton from UC Davis sponsored a get together yesterday, and it was six of us: Brian Bobo, an up and coming engineer that Nick has worked with, a couple other female leaders, coaching and giving information to her about that. We also had a couple impromptu sessions about diversity earlier in the week, just being out here, being able to text people to see if they had a half hour, an hour to get together. Diversity, and then how do I plan my career path if I'm a woman in tech, and how do I plan for that successfully? That was one of them. Diversity is just top of mind, I think, across the board. The other one is really getting technical a little bit around OT and what's happening with OT specifically. How am I going to assess? How am I going to report on new technologies or things that are associated with OT? Supply chain is top of mind as well. Do I bring my manufacturing back to the United States, or how do I impose critical controls and security assessments around my supply chain from the beginning, the idea when I create that file or that instantiation point, to how is it going to be delivered and supported? What do I do about that entire process? And we also have a lot of information that we're discussing about the SEC proposed guidelines around cybersecurity. If you guys recall, the cybersecurity guidelines were published earlier this year. They have four key elements. if you have a materiality, you need to report it within 4 business days. If you have a way to report on security program management, and then also, do you have the right qualified trained personnel on the board and the right qualified trained personnel as a CISO or an executive inside the company that are going to handle cybersecurity events and management of your program, not just the events. But those 4 elements were in the proposed guidelines by the SEC, and there's a lot of discussion around it this week.
Well,
Those are my top.
thankfully, I love that, Laz. And on the last point, thankfully, there are a number of AI solutions out there to handle all of that reporting and demonstration of the platform or program you have running.
Yeah, absolutely.
being a little funny.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about it because as a result, and I think you guys know this, right? We've been building the platform, the security program management platform at Blue Lava. We were fortunate enough to have several meetings this week to talk about what is happening with our platform and how we're addressing the areas of the SEC guidelines and reporting. We were also very big on giving back too. So when diversity discussions, when people wanted to talk about diversity, I had the opportunity to have, our team, Chris Ancharski, Chelsea Strong, and Tobin out here, Tobin Sears. We were able to mobilize and talk to anybody at any level about what's happening with our company and what's happening with the Blue Lava community. The community has been instrumental in getting the word out about, diversity and mentoring. If you think about our goal with our community is gather, share, support, and mentor. Mentor being a key aspect, one of the 4 pillars. And we went into beta last week on the community. So I was happy to see the responses this week and leveraging the diversity discussions around the Blue Lava community.
Talking about community, I mean,
Yes.
every time we think about the event and what we're missing this year, is to hang out with you and all your friends and all the community. I mean, you do such a great job in connecting, and I want to know,
Laz is the community.
Is the community? Yeah, it is the community. How does it feel really to be back? I mean, the excitement, it's really there. I mean, I know you can connect virtually. We've done it for 2.5 years, but tell them how you feel about being there, really.
Yeah, I feel Sunday night I was a little overwhelmed with the amount of text messages coming in, like in the LinkedIn posts, say, are you here? What's going on? It's kind of like putting on an old pair of faded jeans, right? It's like, hey, okay, I gotta, that muscle memory. I gotta go, hey, I'm at Black Hat and DEF CON this week. What's that gonna feel like? What, okay, now I remember. I'm gonna go to this meeting, but I think it's a little different this year. I think there are quality, and instead of, for me personally, what I found is there aren't that many like going back to back and running all over the city. People are finding time, and they're finding more time to spend in quality time with people. And people are also reaching out to each other to have meetings join together. It's like, oh, look, we just finished a meeting. Do you want to step into this next meeting with me? And it's more collaborative, in my opinion. I've just seen, personally, I think it's more collaborative for me. And I've seen more quality time spent with people instead of rushing around and trying to get to that next meeting. I'm not saying my other meetings have been not quality time in the past, but I think all of us have been under the pressure to go to a meeting. I want to retract that last statement. I don't know if I can retract it, but
we can rewind.
We're live, but we get what you we get what you mean.
Yeah, the goal is to spend time, and people are, for me and what I've seen, people are spending more time with people and each other.
Yeah, and I also heard, Laz, I heard that there's the initial, hey, how you doing? Doing pretty good. How's work? Work is fine. What's new? Oh, X, Y, and Z. That's great. We're moving on, right? Now to the next, or I'm heading to a session or something. I've heard this year that the barriers are coming down even more throughout the community, where It's well, how is your family? How are the pets?
That's you know what? That's
what
why.
hobbies have
Okay,
you taken on? How's the
yeah, Sean, that's what
the
I'm.
farm going?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So when I'm talking about quality, it's taking it beyond the professional piece, and there's a lot more personal discussions going on. You know, for me personally, people, you know, we talked about different hobbies we picked up during the pandemic. We talked about, you know, what have I done? You know, what have you done? What have I done to get through? What were some of the things that were going on with your family? You know, and you know, on that note, you know, is, you know, what have you read? What, you know, what do you like, you know, to read more? You know, are you reading less? Did you hop into Netflix more, less? There's a lot more of that. You know, people were standing at an event with Tammy Mosquitas on Wednesday night, and everybody's got their cell phones out showing what they've been doing for the past 2 years. Oh, here's a picture of me and my sister and my brother-in-law. And this is when I was in Chicago, and after I got you know, after I got my vaccine, you know, I waited 2 weeks, I got home, and this is what I was doing. Um, you know, and I think, yeah, people were making a more personal connection. You know, Brian Johnson, Roger Hale were sitting down and talking about what happened, you know, over the pandemic and how good it was to be back, you know, with each other and traveling, you know, with some limitations here domestically. So good thing, Sean. You're absolutely right. You hit it right on the head. That's the way I'm looking
Yep.
at it. Not saying quality, non-quality, but more personal.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of a great person, not that any of the others weren't, mutual good friend Rock. How's he doing?
Hey,
Obviously
yeah,
love to get
Rock
a
was
selfie
here.
with.
Actually, yeah, I'll send you the selfie from Rock. We did one on Sunday night at dinner, and that was part of what caused the stir with Dutch and AJ Nash and Chris Ancharski. We did that dinner meeting of talking about, you know, our community. But I'll definitely send you the picture with Rock and I. But Rock's doing well. He and I had a chance to meet with a couple emerging technology companies this week, specifically around OT and what's happening there.
Yeah.
Then we were talking more about what's happening with the SEC guidelines. Those meetings, you know, turned into what you and Marco have stated. It's kind of like, okay, well, business thing's done. What else is going on? Are you going to Greece this summer? Are you going next summer? What's happening with, you know, Rocky Mountain Information Security Conference and some other events that are coming up for the rest of the year. So it felt good.
That's really cool. Listen, I want to take these little minutes that we have left, maybe to get the from you, if you feel some vibes, the pulse of the industry. I mean, we heard a lot of different story. We heard about few buzzwords, you know, AI everywhere, and you know, the business that know what they want now compare a few years ago where they didn't know. So what's the vibe that you pick up there from the business connection with the cybersecurity this year?
Yeah, so on the business side, I think more and more discussions are happening about board level reporting and executive presence and understanding about the security program. So I think, you know, that's top of mind. I have to reiterate the SEC guidelines or the proposed guidelines on cybersecurity, because those two go hand in hand and they're going to help feed what happens, you know, as we move forward. And the SEC is supposed to announce what happens with those proposed guidelines for next spring. So we're hoping that comes out in March or April of next year. So business awareness, you know, aligning, you know, our program to the business, and then what's happening with SEC guidelines, still top of mind. I mean, how do we align that to the business? Some of the other discussions that happened, and this is kind of, I want to say it's kind of like business merger of tech and business, but there are a lot of tools out there. And one of the other themes that I heard was, how do we consolidate or integrate all these tools together? Because I don't want, everybody wants a single pane, but let's, you know, as a practitioner, I know I'm not going to have one. I may have two or three that I have to lean on, but there are a lot of interesting tools out there. And a lot of the executives and the CISOs I met with this week were asking about consolidation of those tools. What is it going to take? Are the vendors listening and putting those features in their tools or their platforms? And just, I'd say those three things are top of mind: business objectives, how do I align that with the business and talk about my security program, the SEC proposed guidelines on cybersecurity, and then how do I integrate everything so I have better connectivity between all my tools.
Nice. And I'm gonna do what Marco hates me doing. I'm gonna ask one more question before we
Please.
But I'm just wondering from an operations perspective, processes, because you can have a view from the business that says this is what we expect, and we're going to give you the budget to do it, and then you have the tools that hopefully give you the controls and the protections you need at that end, and hopefully you have a team that can map those two together. But it's through the process that happens. And I'm wondering, have you heard much about better processes and better ways to actually run the program?
No, Sean, unfortunately I haven't. What I've heard is do more with less and let's automate. And it doesn't matter if you're using a, SOAR technology or if you're using, some type of endpoint. What I've heard all week is let's automate all these processes and figure out how to do that. I think there's an opportunity there for improvement on processes, but there was a discussion the other day, Wednesday, about can we remove the human and automate as much as possible? And my stance is you cannot eliminate the human. Somebody has to be there to cross-check the work that's automated. Yeah, it's awesome that we're doing all these cool things, but somebody's got to be there to cross-check the work and automation.
Yep. I was hoping for a better answer, but I love the real answer you gave.
What makes it better, Sean?
Yeah, I'm sorry to. Sorry to be.
What's a better one? What were you expecting, Sean? Like
I was expecting that. I don't know, that we found this way to. Yes, automation plays a role, of course, but it's information sharing and connecting with the community and more about the process and less about just automating stuff, automating the existing process, which probably sucks.
I think you're hitting on it, Sean, but I think it's all fractured and there's different levels. Yeah. When I talk about being fractured, not everybody's on the same page yet. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to have more tools that need to be consolidated and or integrated with each other. And then people are going to start reaching out about how did you do it or how did you get there? There's some cool, I think there's some cool innovation out there. I'm thinking about 3 or 4 new tools that I talked to the founders this week, and I think they're pretty powerful, but they're really leaning on automation.
Yep.
When I say they, I'm talking about the CISOs, and I'm talking about the CISOs, their teams, and then some of the tools and technologies.
Yeah. Yeah, because let's face it, it's hard to hire new people. So maybe it's easier to shift budget for tools to things that make the tools better. I don't know. I mean, we could talk about this for hours because that's how my brain works. A program manager by heart.
And we will talk more about this.
We will.
We will. Just not today.
Not today,
unfortunately.
All right. Laz has place to be and people to see. So
that's right.
No, I appreciate the time and the opportunity, guys. It's great seeing you on screen. I will send you. I'll send you a couple of photos from the event. I'll post some things up on LinkedIn. Let me know if you guys need anything from the shows. A couple more days, so
that's right.
I'll check in with you soon.
The hardcore stuff
sounds good. Thank you, Laz.
Right on, Laz.
Thank you so much.
Keep well.
Thanks, everyone.
Everybody, stay tuned for more. There's lots coming still today. Villages and more chats with everybody.
We are still going and going and going and going.
All right.
Take care, everyone.
Peace out.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of our On Location Conversation. If you learned something new and this podcast made you think, then share ITSPmagazine.com with your friends, family, and colleagues. If you represent a company and wish to associate your brand with our conversations, sponsor one or more of our podcast channels. We hope you will come back for more stories and follow us on our journey. You can always find us at the intersection of technology, cybersecurity, and society.